Nigga, that's fine. Nigga, that's fine.
Good evening. Everyone, welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTube sign off and imitator. Never duplicate us. Some vicious sin. We're gonna go a little raw this week. It was in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Nope. Thankfully, there's no big shocking news. It's been kind of cool and calm the past couple weeks, so thank the heavens on that. No big news that we need to break or talk about. So we're going to switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And the big highlights from last week's SmackDown, well, there's obvious tension within the bloodline. And we're going to get into that as we go over the Rewind and the beginning of Raw. But matches-wise, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, and Madcap Moss went against Imperium. Imperium got the win. After the match, though, Drew McIntyre came down, had a big stare down with Gunther, and then the Raiders came out, beat up Drew, and then Sheamus came out, and then they beat up Sheamus as well. Yeah. Kofi Kingston had a match with LA Knight, and this came to be because Knight came out, cut a promo saying on how it's WrestleMania season, and WrestleMania is in LA, and you can't have a WrestleMania in LA without LA Knight. Yeah, dummy. Yeah, dummy. That's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. And New Day came out. They were ripping on him about with his match with Bray, and then they were saying, then he was calling them the Nerd Day. They were like, oh, yeah, we're nerds, but we made a lot of money off of being nerds. And which goes to what I said before, a couple months back about nerd culture being like at its, probably hands down right now, at its peak. Which, yeah, it's all the nerds that got, all the kids that got made fun of for liking all the nerdy stuff in like the 80s and 90s. Well, they're the ones that are making this shit now and making a ton of money off of it. Yeah. So either way, Kofi had a match against LA Knight. Kofi got the win. Natalya had a match against Shayna Baszler. Natty had, she had Tegan Nox by her side. Shayna had Ronda Rousey. Shayna wound up getting the win. After the match, though, her and Ronda were getting ready to go and do a beatdown on the Natty when Tegan wound up doing a save on Natalya. As Shayna and Ronda are walking away, you hear Ronda yelling, "Who the hell was that? Who the hell was that?" And you hear Shayna saying, that was Tegan Nox. Who the hell is Tegan Nox? Like, seriously? What? That just, I don't know. To me, that just comes off kind of rude. Not even so much rude, because rude is one thing that on TV, but disrespectful, like, who the hell are you? Like, well, just, I don't know. That, like I said, that's just me. There was a Firefly Funhouse segment, which, now I'll say this. I am straight edge. I am 100% drug-free. I am drug-free, alcohol-free, tobacco-free. However, that does not mean that I wasn't always at one point in my life, and I did dabble in a handful of things here and there, and, well, I can't say I ever did acid, but if I did, I would imagine that Firefly Funhouse video would have been what it was like, because holy fuck, that thing was fucking trippy. That thing was fucking trippy as shit. Ugh. Now, Rey Mysterio had a match with Karrion Kross. Kross got the win, but the big takeaway from this match was Dominic was out there ringside and was teasing and taunting Rey even after the match, getting in his face, pushing, shoving him, all that jazz. And yeah, so looks like we're leading to a match between them two at Mania, which would be good. Now, just hear me out on this. What if we get Dominic Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio in a jailhouse brawl match. God damn, pal, that's such good shit. Yeah. And then came then SmackDown ended with Jimmy coming out, coming out, looking to go and talk to Jay, figure out what's going on, where he's standing, this, that, and the other. Then is confronted by one Sami Zayn, and then basically Sami saying, whoa, here, I'm here on peace, here for peace. Hear me out now. I've been nothing but, and keep in mind I'm paraphrasing all this, so basically saying, keep in mind, I've been nothing but loyal to you guys. I have done nothing but fought for you guys day in and day out. And this is on how you guys repaid me. And that Jimmy basically saying, you were family. You were family. You were given a job and you didn't do it. And Sami then snapping at him, what kind of family tests your loyalty? What kind of family questions your loyalty week in and week out? What kind of family makes you jump through hoops to be a part of it? What kind of family manipulates you mentally, emotionally, physically? Because I know, because it wasn't just done to me. Roman has done it to you and your brother. And it's not just for past couple days or weeks or even months, but for years. And that part right there, the years part, that opens up two doors right there, because that could be talking about that can talk about during Roman's entire reign as champ with the bloodline, and as well as with being family, knowing each other for forever. And then as Sami and Jimmy are doing all this, Jay comes out through the stands, and he doesn't hop the barricade at any point. He just stands there the whole time while they're going. And then eventually, Jimmy and Sami, they get into a brawl. They start going. It ends with Sami hitting a haluva kick, getting the hell out of Dodge, and then as he's getting ready to hop over the barricade, he sees Jay. Has an epic stare down with him for what felt like eternity, but was like maybe 3 to 5 seconds. And then hopped the barricade and then got the hell out of Dodge. So, yeah, like I said, a lot of tension, a lot of drama within the bloodline and the family. So, that leads into this week's show with Raw. It starts out with Jimmy and Solo coming out. Excuse me. Jimmy then addressing the fact of, first off, that people are saying that there's tension, there's drama, there's in-house fighting in the bloodline. I'm here to tell all y'all, we're all good. Now we're family. It's what families do. Families fight. Families argue sometimes. Hell, I can attest to that. Me and my brother, we fight like fucking cats and dogs, but the second somebody goes and says something they were wrong about either one of us, we stop swinging at each other like, the fuck you say? Nobody calls him an ass. Nobody's allowed to call him an asshole except me. That's, gotta love Irish brothers like that. Either way, then Jimmy addresses the fact that Roman is going to be on SmackDown this coming Friday. Hold on to that note, because I'll get onto that later on. And then out comes the Street Profits. Street Profits then cut a promo ripping on them. Oh, it's Jimmy and Solo. It's the bloodline. And where's Jay? Jay? Oh, Jay. Oh, Jay. Normal teasing, taunting shit. And then then we get to the match, have a little bit of a scuffle and a brawl before the match. And then we get to the match. Solid start with the Profits leading. Profits wound up leading into the break. Heels wound up leading post-break. excuse me, with Dawkins being the punching bag and Tez getting a hot tag in. It was a good opener. Match came to an end when Jimmy wound up tagging in Solo, and Solo just called for it and wham! Hit the Samoan spike onto Dawkins. Next, 1, 2, 3. Post-match, they were getting ready to go and do a beatdown. They were prepping to do a beatdown and a face wash hip attack with the chair in the corner onto Dawkins. Had to think about that for a minute. And then out of nowhere, Kevin Owens comes in, does the save, pops a stunner to Solo, pops a stunner to Jimmy, and then goes and leaves, and then exit stage left. Next up, we got Cody going against Chad Gable, and oh my fucking god! Now, listen, this was a damn good match, and I would say, and the main thing, fucking Chad fucking Gable. Man, you want to talk about fucking somebody who is good. And I'm not just comparing because, and I'm going to use this comparison, and I'm like almost, he's in a lot of ways reminds me of Kurt Angle. And I'm not just talking because they're both Olympic level wrestlers or because they transitioned from the Olympics into pro wrestling. No. Because there are other guys that have done that too. Jeff Cobb being the most obvious and right off the top of the head. But, because, and this is my big thing that I'll always bring up about with Kurt, Gable's range. He goes up there with the likes of Kurt, where he is with Alpha Academy. It's a very comical, humorous-like way. Where, shush, please, thank you, all that jazz. To where, next thing you know, once you step in the ring, ma'am, if you don't have your working boots on, he's gonna fucking work you. Like, Gable was just on fucking fire during this match, hands down. And, like, at one point, Cody, going off the ropes, bouncing off the ropes to do the springboard cutter he does. Catch it, goes, bounces off the ropes, Gable catches him mid-air, and then boom, pops him with a German. Like, holy shit nuts, that was fucking good. Really good match, really good and solid. I absolutely loved it. You know, at one point, Gable, he was working on Cody's knee. That was an obvious work spot. But, yeah. At one point, though, Cody wound up okie dokie and Otis because as Cody's starting to build momentum and get the pace going his way, Otis, he's distracted out looking over somewhere for a girl, and then Cody just comes over. She's over there. Oh, yeah? Yeah. She's real pretty. Oh, yeah, I bet she is. What are you doing here? And then Otis just looking at him like, what? What are you doing here? And then, yeah. And then he goes and throws Otis over a barricade, gets back in, hits the cutter, and then the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. That is it. And then, excuse me, Cody gets the mic, talks about on how he's hyped for Mania, and that he's glad to hear Roman is going to be on SmackDown this Friday because he intends to be there too. Yes. So now we come to the next matchup. Asuka. Probably a bit unprofessional to say, but I'm pretty sure this evil clown gimmick is starting to make me feel very awkward about anyone I've ever questioned that had like a clown fetish, because now I'm questioning myself now in ways I'm not quite sure on how to answer. And now I'm gonna get brain dusted for that. Sorry. Anyways, Asuka versus Carmella. And Really nice little bit of striking with each other back and forth at the start. Mella wound up leading into the break. Post break, Asuka, she was picking up the lead and then the match ended with Asuka putting in the Rings of Saturn, called out Bianca, and then Bianca's like, oh, well, Asuka at the mic started speaking in Japanese and then said, Bianca, come on out. And then Bianca came out. And then she's like, oh, I don't know what you said, but I hope you were saying that you're ready for me, because I am the EST and you cannot spell WrestleMania without me. And then Mella does a sneak attack onto both and then leaves. So yeah. Next up we got Piper Niven going against Candice LeRAE, and with Nikki Cross almost looking like a little Kilroy, like, leaning over, hiding behind Candice. Piper, she was pretty much powering over Candice throughout the entire match. Candice obviously got a couple shots in and a few licks in here and there, but it was mostly Piper. Match came to an end when Nikki started getting in Piper's face. Then Piper threw Nikki like a wad of trash, and then got back into the ring. And then Candice did a roll-up. A fucking roll-up. I hate roll-up finishes. Feel so fucking lazy. Ugh. Yeah. Anyways. Next up, we got the almighty Bobby Lashley going against Elias. And I was in my moment. I just breathed that in and enjoyed every last second of it. Bobby pretty much murked Elias. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that way too much. Anyways, he had a hurt lock on him. Afterwards, Bobby cut a promo about Bray Wyatt. Don't put my name in your mouth unless you want to pay for it. And then, as he's walking up the ramp, we see a Bray Wyatt video from the old clips of the Firefly Funhouse doing the Muscle Man dance, with pictures of Bobby flexing. Yeah. So yeah, it looks like we're getting Bobby and Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, which honestly I don't mind, because Bray Wyatt, he's an attraction character. You know, you can't have him on TV every week, otherwise you lose the allure of the attraction. Much like we also now have officially got Brock Lesnar going against Omos at WrestleMania, and a lot of people are shitting on it, but I'm just sitting there thinking, well, think about this for a minute. Brock Lesnar is a monster, and he's the kind of monster that eats other monsters. So, because I mean, we've seen Brock Lesnar destroy Undertaker, destroy Kane, destroy The Big Show. Why not see him destroy somebody that's constantly a giant that we're constantly being reminded that is 7'4" and 416? I'm just saying. So yeah, next up we got Otis versus Johnny Gargano, and this came to be because after Gable's match, you see Otis pacing back and forth outside the trainer's office, and then Maxine Dupri comes over saying, "Oh, I saw you out there earlier. You were so great. If only you had a match tonight." Match? Yes. I can get a match. Pierce! I need a match. So then Adam Pearce, just like he always does, let's make it official. Adam Pearce made Otis versus Johnny Gargano. And on a side note, we really need some Adam Pearce It's Official merch. Just saying. Either way, Otis, he was bulldozing Johnny, and Johnny was pretty much fighting from the ground up. And on how the match came to an end, Johnny wound up getting the win because at one point, after he wound up clearing out MA.ÇÉ and MÓN.SÔÖR, he wound up then just leaning up next to Maxine like, oh, hi, huh, hey, how's it going? And then Otis starts freaking out, yelling at him. He's through the ropes, and then Johnny, boom, slingshots him off the rope, hits him with the Gargano spike off the apron, out onto the apron, falls out of the ring, gets him back in the ring, sets him up, and then hits the Gargano spike again. 1, 2, 3, that's it. So now we come to main event of the night. Women's tag team match. The man, Becky Lynch, with Lita going against Dakota Kai and Io Sky. And this was a damn good match. Nice little bit of feeling out at the start. Baby faces that were leading into the break. The heels were leading post-break, with Becky being the punching bag, which honestly that makes the most sense, because do you really want to have Lita, who is your special attraction character for this match, be the punching bag? And I'm not discrediting Lita, but yeah, she did look like she was a step or two behind, and you know, listen, I get it. She's not doing it day in and day out like everyone else. So yeah, she may be a step or two behind. I'm not gonna fucking argue on that. You know? But either way, it was a decent match. And then, of all things that made me stop and snap my head like, whoa, wait, what? Was Trish Stratus came out to stop Bayley from running interference, which, okay, Trish fucking Stratus, which, okay, side note, anyone that's watching, you have the all right to laugh at this story, but back when I was in college, and yes, I did go to college, and I did pass, by the way, I did graduate. Back when I was in college, I actually wrote a thesis saying on how Canada's second greatest export, first being maple syrup, second being drop dead gorgeous women wrestlers. And I wish I had that thesis still, because I swear to God, if I did, I would put it out there for everyone to see so they could laugh at me on this. But up at the top of that list was none other than Trish fucking Stratus, the pinnacle of drop-dead gorgeous Canadian women wrestlers. Need I say more for that? Need I say more on that, case your honor? Yes. That is all. So either way, Trish came out, stopped Bayley from running interference. That threw Dakota and Io off, which gave them enough time as Io was going up for a moonsault. That stopped her. Not Io going up for a moonsault. That stopped them, which then led Bayley and... damn it, I'm getting my names confused. Which then gave Becky and Lita enough time to build up some offense. And then Lita went up, did the moonsault onto Io. 1, 2, 3, that is it. So your winners and new women's tag team champions, Becky Lynch and Lita. So Becky is now a Triple Crown champion, being a Raw Women's Champion, SmackDown Women's Champion, and now a Tag Team Champion. So, kudos to her. So, yeah. So, that is it for this week's show, folks. So, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back and watch some of the episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at TimVicious. Thank you to my executive producer, LeRAE, Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, all that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're all a little better wrestling. little bit, man. They had a lot of attractive women when I look at nothing. Also, make sure y'all check out what I'm gonna do about some Vicious Rants Apparel. Help support this show. Perfect shirt to get for WrestleMania coming up. Also, St. Patrick's Day is coming up right around the corner too. So if you want to go and have a nice shirt to wear when you go out and get trashed on St. Patty's Day, perfect thing to wear. Folks, make sure to check out these class guests on the Twitter. Kenny Killer, DSB on the Swabby, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry, fancy dubs in your face. And folks, I can always tell y'all, you done a great rating.
Got $4 in my bank account, and I need gas.